Night sets in over a major Brisbane industrial area. Machinery has shut down, but is soon to start up again with the early arrival of workers. To them, these factories provide a living, an occupation, and a sense of stability, circumstances which too few Australians today are able to experience. It's no secret that young people can no longer walk straight out of the classroom and into a job, and this unstable situation is taking its toll on the attitudes of our youth.
Primary school, the place where most children begin their formal education. They say that children learn more in their first 10 years than they do over the rest of their lives. But even still, there are many things that these kids are unaware of. They're just getting their first notions of what they'd like to be when they grow up. And at this stage, they're unhindered by the vexation of unemployment. The world is in their palm, a giant oyster holding many pearls within.
When I grow up, I want to be a nurse. When I grow up, I want to be a famous soccer player. If I can't, then I'll be a famous Aussie rules player. When I grow up, I want to be an artist, swimmer, and what was the other one? When I grow up, I want to be a famous football player. When I grow up, I want to be a swimmer.
Has the unemployment situation begun to affect kids that you see at the primary school age?
Yes, definitely. I think there's so many parents that are unemployed as well. And the children are coming up in a society now that unemployment is rife. They have older brothers and sisters, and I think the overall effect on them is that they don't have the incentive. You know, there's a lot of them that don't have the incentive to push ahead. I mean, what are they actually working towards?
So at this age, even psychologically, unemployment affects them?
I believe so.
On entering high school, attitudes begin to change. Once an easygoing and recreational experience, school has now suddenly become something serious and competitive. Now that they're teenagers, these kids are starting to realize that their futures are not that secure. Their lives are becoming more complicated, their destinies more uncertain. The hope is still there, but reality is slowly diminishing their expectations.
I stayed on to do year 11 and 12 because I'd like to go into university after I finish year 12. And also I think that if you finish in grade 10 and try and look for a job at the moment, you're just not going to get something that is worthwhile to you in the long run.
And do you believe that it's improved your employment chances?
Greatly, yes. I hope an employer will see that I've done grade 11 and 12 and will give me the job.
So does the employment situation worry you that much?
Yeah, at the moment it worries me.
Could you tell us, please, how you think unemployment is affecting the youth of Australia?
My position observing youth, observing how they react, it's creating a lot of uncertainty. It's creating a feeling of why bother, why try, that we have to do our best to counter.
After high school, there is that big decision, whether to join the workforce or to pursue tertiary education. Too often the choice is out of these young people's hands. They are forced into further education, often not because they really want to be, but because the prospect of unemployment is too daunting.
Did you feel compelled to go to uni because of fear of unemployment, maybe?
To a certain extent, I think everyone that goes to university wants to be assured that they can get a good job or a better job once they leave.
So the chances are good that you'll get a job after your degree?
I don't know if I'd say they were good. They'd be better than if I just dropped out of high school or something.
Tony, what in your opinion are the psychological effects of unemployment on the youth of Australia?
I think the psychological effects, Rachel, are quite significant. In the first instant, as anyone would understand, at the point of when one is about to be unemployed, not to be able to get a position doesn't help one's self-esteem.
It has been repeatedly proven in surveys and longitudinal studies that unemployment is a major contributing factor to psychological illness in youth. Studies using the General Health Questionnaire in Australia identified unemployment as the cause of 70% of severe psychiatric disorders in the 16 to 24-year-old age group. Unemployed youth show significantly greater levels of depression, frustration, and discontent. Their development is inhibited, and they experience declines in self-esteem and happiness. How long have you been unemployed?
Nearly 2 years. About 3 years.
About 3 years.
I think the longest job I've had was working as a groundsman, and that was for about 6 to 7 months.
Groundsman, trolley pusher, that's it.
Worked as a jewellery and in Woolworths and Kmart as a checkout chick.
I think young people these days get very discouraged and really feel a sense of hopelessness because there are no job opportunities for young people, and because Australian society puts a very high emphasis on the working ethic.
Feels like giving up.
Just rejected.
I had a job at New Sydney National as a barmaid, and then I got pregnant and I put on weight heaps, and they sacked me for it because I put weight on.
Right. How major are the psychological problems which result from unemployment?
Those problems can range from being relatively mild through to being quite devastating. It often depends on the sorts of problems that the person has had previously, which tend to be exacerbated by the experience of being unemployed.
Lots of spare time, not a lot to do, and little money to do it with leads young people here, out on the streets. This is the place where if you've got the guts, there's money, fame, and a good time to be had by all. The drugs are selling hard and fast, the booze is readily available, but to indulge in it, they've got to have the cash. This is one of the reasons why the rate of muggings, robberies, and violence has increased dramatically in our cities. But sometimes it isn't the need for money that turns these kids into criminals. Boredom and anxiety are direct motives for vandalism, bashings, and rapes.
Yes, I think unemployment is a fairly major factor in crime and alcohol and substance abuse. There are two main reasons I believe young people do crime. One of it is a lack of money so they can live. The other is boredom, both of which can be attributed to unemployment.
I usually just ask someone if they've got a spare $1 or $2 so we get something to eat. And then if they haven't, we'll let them take them down the alley and give them a flogging and take their whole wallet, sort of thing. The unemployment situation isn't getting much worse, but nor is it getting any better. For many young people, there is little hope. It's time to change their perspective. It's time to stabilize their future.
January